Candyman that was done. The majority of the movie did not have Tony Todd in it. There is a Stinger special guest appearance, but the vast majority of the movie, he did not play any of the versions of Candyman that were presented. And it's amazing how much the character does not work without him. It just really doesn't. Yeah, I think that's it. Because you can see how the jacket looks way newer. And you see the guy there was one of the Candyman. The guy, you see his face down below it. And Tony Todd appears at the end for a very short moment. Just, he transforms into the OG Candyman. Because what it is Candyman is a role that's been that several people have been. It's like an urban legend that keeps changing. And each time it's a different person because someone always gets Candyman in one way or another. You know what I mean? Dies unjustly and becomes the character. But without Tony Todd, it's amazing how it doesn't work. Like, you notice they're not even showing Tony Todd because he was a surprise appearance. Like, he pops in the end. They see they got him at the very bottom, and notice they do it by usually order of appearance. He only appears as a very short sting at the end, the kind of like the end credits of, oh look, it's the Tony Todd Candyman. They went all the way back to
I did not watch the remakes. I didn't realize there was one.
It's not a bad movie, but nobody can do the role, the gravitas, the way he transformed that character. It's a B movie, dude. It's not a really high-tier horror movie without him. He is he made it work. It's kind of how, like, they haven't been able to pull off Freddy Krueger without Robert Englund. It's like, yeah, you kind of need Englund. But honestly, even more so, because Tony Todd is very iconic in this role.
Yeah, that Nightmare on Elm Street reboot was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, really bad.
But some of it was bad story choices. I thought it had potential, but some of the calls they made were not working for me. But you can't replace Tony Todd, man, as Candyman. That's just not possible. Like, that's literally not possible. I don't see how you could even do it. He is the character so integrally that it's just inconceivable. So, I mean, they'd have to do a genuine reboot and just try to completely reinvent the character. And I don't think anybody that remembers the original would ever be sold on it. Because I can't think of an actor today that could pull it off. I can't think of anybody. I mean, there's
I'd
good
rather
actors
have a whole new horror franchise than a reboot anyway.
I'll be honest, dude. I didn't realize. I mean, like that he was a poor health. Because I mean, last time I'd seen him in anything, I mean, the dude is, he acts like a rock.
We don't know what happened. They're not talking about it. We don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I said, I mean, it's so hush hush. You really have no idea. But yeah, an icon. So I mean, we can start the show off with paying our respects. Then we'll proceed to disrespect all these gaming companies.
But yeah.
Did y'all grab that other thing that I sent y'all?
We went through everything and grabbed everything we thought was valid, but we went through all the links.
I'm assuming y'all grabbed the Kotaku stuff, right?
Oh, the firing? He should have. I brought it up to him. He grabbed the one about people losing their job, right?
Well, that and one person in particular.
Yeah, we know. I know who you're talking about.
All right.
Oh, looks like he didn't.
Yeah, I hate talking about this woman. I'll be honest. I just every time I see her face,
The problem is people love hearing about her in the negative light, especially. So.
Especially since she challenged Melanie Mack to a fight.
She challenged everybody to a fight, and she ran and hid. She's a loser.
I mean, that's the thing.
Say what you want about the little idiot that challenged Mike Tyson, but I mean, he looks like he actually was it Jake Paul or RuPaul something? He at least looks like he intends to fight. I mean, at least he looks like he might actually show up. Now he's gonna get destroyed, but at least he seems like he's like, oh, I'll be there. But like, she talked all that, man, and got claps and everybody, rah, rah, and then like, I ain't fighting nobody. And it's like, shut up. I mean, I can't stand it when people want to talk tough, And then, and don't even have a reason to. Oh, wow. Apparently, she's now attacking Smash JT's family. It just keeps going. Huh. I can believe it. She's sent people after his family before, or somebody's family. I remember that happened before, a really big incident with her, so that ain't hard to believe at all. But yeah, go ahead and do our intro, bruh. Get us going. Ain't we started up? Do your job.
Sorry, I was trying to find a good article with the
Out her face.
Yeah,
Not her face.
there you go.
Oh God, you're right. That face is annoying. Okay, I will admit. I mean that's punchable on a whole new level.
I know, that's why I don't like talking about her, because it's like
Right.
I grew up in an era where you don't talk about, you don't hit women, but every time I see her, I really want to punch her, and I know I couldn't morally do that.
All right, there we go. I can finally see the chat. Oh, but what Flynn's here? Yeah, man, I'm telling you, Tony Todd was legend. I don't know how much of you got because the credits were playing, but we were talking about how he's so iconic as Candyman that like you can't even redo that role. That really is a character.
Yeah.
That wasn't that well written without him.
He was the
but
voice of
Tony
Venom
Todd
and
says it.
Spider-Man.
It sounds, huh?
So yeah, he was in the voice of Venom in Spider-Man 2. I think the video game Spider-Man 2. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, just legendary. And that's the thing, because he said it, he made the silliest premise work. I mean, it's literally like, they call him Candyman because they smeared him with honey and said, oh, look, you're sweet. And like, you go back and look at it, it's a character that would have never became a horror icon if it wasn't for the fact that you can't not take Tony Todd serious. You have to take him serious, and thus success.
Yeah.
So props, R.I.P. Tony Todd, man. I watched all the Candyman movies, even that last one. And he's a man. Deep Space Nine, Platoon. I mean, just a massive live action, roles, and then as Flynn in chat said, a lot of amazing voice roles. So, like I said, respect for Tony Todd before we roll into the disrespect for all these gaming folks.
All right, well, let's get started. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And also on Skype,
We have Bloodaxe.
all right, let's get started. What do we want to talk about first? Man, there's so much.
Hey, give me one. Well, keep going. Give me 1 second. I got to silence the background chatter.
Yeah, I've already
Go
warned my
strangle
background
your
chatter,
son.
and background chatter don't listen.
Oh, but I mean, do we want to start with that face? That I guess.
May as well get it over with.
Yeah, let's rip off the Band-Aid here. So apparently Kotaku has been laying off people, including Elisa Macante. So
Well, she's no longer working at Kotaku.
Allegedly, she resigned. I don't think she was laid off.
okay,
But I
well,
think
yeah,
publicly,
supposedly they say Kotaku started laying off today, including, but if you listen to her, she says, work news, after exactly 2 years, I've decided to leave. So, who knows?
we all know she's trying to get a job with SBI anyway.
I mean, dude, it's the usual. You say you resigned because you don't want to say you got fired. It's not, it's a common tactic. I resigned. Nah, man. She was off their site and removed well before she ever made a statement.
I don't know, dude. I mean, Kotaku isn't a bad place for her. I think she fits in quite well. I'm surprised.
That's why I wouldn't believe she'd resign.
Yeah.
I think she'd leave if she smelled that it was going down because she's a rat. So, I mean, if she did resign, it's because Kotaku's on fire, and a lot of people have said that they're definitely not going to be around much longer. And I can see her bailing on them easy. So She may be bailing on them because they're circling the drain, but they've been laying people off, and they started doing layoffs, and somebody suddenly resigns. That sounds like you resigned ahead of the layoff because you knew you were on the block.
I mean, when I was originally looking this up, I searched for Kotaku, and what I got was a article. The first thing that popped up was an article released by Kotaku staff about how horrible this week has been, and because the world is going to crap with fascism, we should go download Wolfenstein and shoot Nazis, because you're a game studio and you're trying to be political. And that's right up her MO. So I mean, I figured they'd keep her.
I mean, Wolfenstein's not a bad
I thought the whole
game.
thing recently was Kotaku was going to get away from that shit and was actually going to start writing game articles again. Wasn't that something they posted like several?
I mean, they literally got told they had to do a certain amount of this and that and the other. Yeah. But maybe they just know they're not going to make it. And they've got, how the company will be like, we're shutting you down in January or we're shutting you down in March. And you don't think Kotaku's filled with immature enough people to go, well, let's set fire to everything on the way out? I mean, they're definitely the kind of people to burn the business to the ground before they go.
I would just think as management, if you are a manager for this company, you could stop things before they get posted.
That's assuming you have the foresight to look at the oversight before they get posted.
I mean, you're looking at the track record, you should have the foresight. I mean, Kotaku has been so far away from games. Anyways. Yeah. I just maybe this is Kotaku trying to fix things. I don't think they ever will though. I mean, as soon as you hear the name Kotaku, you get a bad taste in your mouth. So
it's not Kotaku. It's the people over them firing people. Kotaku ain't firing nobody. Like I told you, Kotaku is the kind of folks, man. Kotaku are like some other people we're going to talk about that'll literally swear they're doing amazing as they're failing dramatically, literally to the point that you've already abandoned everything. Like, this is Kotaku. They would never try to fix things. But remember, they got bought. So I think the boss is the one that laid the law down.
And Flynn says that is the major problem with just about every business now. They want to exercise their free speech and get political. You can say whatever you want, but you'll be held accountable for it. Stop doing that and release a canned statement that doesn't fire back at people. Go through your damn PR of it. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, that's the thing, dude. I still don't know when that tide shifted from businesses, because businesses always used to stay very neutral, not very party-centric. They tried to be as toe the middle line as possible, because you didn't ever want to isolate half your audience.
BlackRock.
And all of a sudden, businesses are like,
Vanguard.
We're going to choose a side, and that's not good for business.
I mean, it's been the past 20 years. I remember when I was a kid, we'd get VHS tapes, and one of the first things you would see is the opinions expressed by the actors during the commentary do not represent Fox or whatever producer was of the film. And now it's if you don't have whatever their toe line is, you get fired like Gina Carano did. But it's been in the probably the past 20 years.
I mean, I remember those. I remember some, but even then, it was still a small handful of the actors that were really vocal. Most of them, because they wanted to get jobs, they weren't very vocal about. It seems like now, of course, to get a job in Hollywood, you have to be vocal about one side and not and against the other, because Hollywood seems to have leaned a certain direction for.
We're
off topic, man. Big thing is Kotaku's firing people. Woo!
Oh no, I'm standing by. People above it are firing people at Kotaku, and good on them. Much as I say people need their jobs, Kotaku has finally broken even that sympathy. They clearly don't care about their jobs.
I'll say certain people at Kotaku. I occasionally still run across a good article from Kotaku. It shocks me when it happens, but I have seen non-biased articles posted to Kotaku.
Really?
Yeah,
occasionally.
I haven't.
Yeah. Next time you do, share it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I can't even back you. But,
Big Sir, it didn't happen.
I think you were drunk.
No. I have seen some, but yeah, they're far and few in between, and none of them, and all of those actually have somebody's name attached. Usually, it doesn't just say Kotaku staff.
You just saw them. I won't get political, but they literally just posted a very political statement that was counterintuitive to the vast majority, which is not a very good business move. Numbers aren't on their side, so from a business perspective, they're not very bright. See, that's what it was. You weren't on Kotaku. You were on some other site. You were on Catako.
Just because I can't spell. Oh, and I wasn't sharing that. You didn't have to tell everybody that I can't spell. I was waiting until I got it right before I shared. But
we try to get things right.
I don't care about getting things right.
We are not a professional organization, just pulling back the curtain.
They can see us, dude. We're not exactly dressed up in suits here.
Yeah.
I'm in dad mode because I'm dadding right now, but most of the time we all look like a bunch of we look like what we are. We're bar rats.
Andar, the best Star Wars story in years, officially returns for season 2.
Okay, I believe you.
Wow, that live action Stitch looks terrible. Disney is just on a fail roller coaster. Good gracious. That's as bad. Yeah, that is. Reminds me of Ugly Sonic. It's creepy as heck. He isn't even blue enough. All right, well, Disney's been failing. So that's not a surprise.
For no particular reason, we suggest you slay Nazis this week.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any good articles. So, well, you know what they did say? You know what? You're right. They did call the Stitch right. That looks terrible. That Stitch looks awful. Stitch is supposed to be cute. That thing is not cute. That looks like a stuffed animal. Yeah. They did not do a good job. It doesn't even look alive. I know it's not moving, but it still looks very not alive in that still shot.
Flynn. I saw they got good reviews, but because everything else is so trash, I just refuse to watch it.
What, Stitch?
No, Andor. I'm reading the chat. Back up. I watched the first 2 episodes of Andor, and while it was good, it wasn't Star Wars good. So I really had a hard time getting into it as a Star Wars series. But Diego Luna did a good job with it. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't my cup of tea.
I'm not a big sci-fi guy, and it didn't feel very Star Warsy to me. Unfortunately, in a good way, because it actually looked like it was trying to tell the story. But I'm not a sci-fi guy. So unfortunately, it didn't have my space wizards with laser swords. But, I mean, it did seem like they were trying.
Well, they did The Mandalorian, but that was a Western in space.
Well, that was different, man. That was a Western, yeah. That wasn't like pure, that wasn't in it for the sci-fi, man. That was just that could have been not even a sci-fi version of that. It still would have been awesome. Like, that could have been an apocalyptic setting. That could have been a Western style thing. It just was well executed. I mean, it's Lone Wolf and Cub. It's an old story, man.
But I liked Rogue One, but I just couldn't get into Andor, which is, I don't know if that makes me weird, but I just couldn't get into Andor.
I mean, Rogue One has a great ending.
Even the whole thing with Saw Gerrera and Bodhi the pilot, and just, it was a war movie. It was a Star Wars war movie.
But see, that article was an opinion piece on Kotaku that nowhere in it was it political or hateful towards
I know you were scanning it, though, very carefully. You were going down it like...
Yeah, well, I had to make sure. But I read it, and yes, they were very they're very good at with that article.
Who the heck wrote that? We know it wasn't Alyssa.
You know, and
Some
Flynn makes a
Ethan
point,
Gotch.
and that's probably why I didn't get into it, because he makes a point that it was more drama and or than action, and Star Wars has always been an action
See, this dude,
Oh, wow.
franchise.
this dude may not be so bad. He's all about the
Yeah,
escapism for political. It's like, hey, play games. Don't worry about the election.
Wow, this dude just needs to have normal articles. Let's hear it for Ethan Gott. He's probably fired. He probably let him go because of his tendency to write. You know,
Yeah,
he even mentioned that he even called the Borderlands movie terrible. I'm starting to like this guy, which is not helping his career, probably. I'm sure I'm hurting him. He mentioned Harry Potter without a negative Oh, this guy, you sure he's still there? He mentioned Hogwarts Legacy 2 will have story crossover with Harry Potter. There's not a single offensive thing in that title. Who is this person? Man, hopefully they let him stay and he just becomes Kotaku's head.
Get a little political here, but I mean, he didn't call anybody by names. He just said surprisingly, so that's not really that bad.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's not name calling. He can have an opinion, dude.
I mean,
don't mind
I'm
if he has an
also would
opinion.
be surprised that Elon Musk became a top ranked Diablo 4 player. Not between cheerleading for Trump, but because he has a lot of stuff going on.
He's like ranked number 19 in the world or something.
You don't think he doesn't have people?
But yeah.
If I was one of the richest men in the world, I would not play fair. I don't care. At that point, I'd be like, I don't play fair.
I get that. I
mean,
We're way off
got
topic
too much
now.
money to bother playing fair anymore. Just be like, yeah, I want 100% legendary drop rate. I'll put your kid through college. You know what I'm saying? Just.
But I mean, Ethan wrote an article on November 9th. And so that does mean that he may still be around.
All
That was yesterday.
Well, let's hope he sticks around and we get more Ethan and less everybody else.
Yeah, I was watching Clownfish, was it yesterday, and Neon was talking about that guy Gawk. So I've never read a whole lot of Kotaku, but it kind of, you guys are echoing what Neon was saying, so that's at least encouraging.
I like he doesn't have a picture. They don't have a picture, and they don't have pronouns or anything. It's just do their work.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, let's go to our first topic or second topic.
Pal World, man. We hadn't talked about Pal World in a while.
With Nintendo.
I've been wanting to pick that back up again, but we'll see how the lawsuit goes. So tell us about that one.
So Pal World Dev reveals patents at the heart of the Nintendo and Pokemon Company lawsuit and how much money it's being sued for. I think the biggest part of this whole thing that's of interest to anybody is if you go down to the 3 patents. If you look, these patent application dates are all after this game was released.
Yep.
And somehow managed, I mean, hell, this patent was pushed out on July and accepted in August. When does our patent system work that fast?
When it's all bullcrap.
Well, Nintendo has money. You're fully aware of that.
I mean, you got a patent through in less than 30 days.
And the crazy part is that some of these patents are game mechanics that I know my boy Flynn can back me up on too, and probably you're an old school gamer really, that have existed long before like they appeared, like the percentage chance of success in an action, even capturing something. Dude, I remember that way back. I remember that back on my Nintendo, but they patent things that really shouldn't be patented. Game mechanics. And they've always said that you can't really patent game mechanics. That's been something that's always been fairly difficult to patent. Somehow Nintendo pushed through a bunch of video game patents very specific to another game, and then immediately, that's the part that makes it so obvious something's wrong, is like you said, they pushed the patents through and then immediately sued. So it's very clear it's inappropriate. It's like, I put out a patent and I sue you like a month or two later, and your game has been out for a while, and my series and these things have been in games for years, it's very clear that this is just Nintendo showing that they don't have the capability to compete because they've lost all of their creativity. I mean, look at that stupid game they put up for Game of the Year, the Zelda Echoes of the Past. Dude, that's an old mechanic. Like, they ought to get sued. The old mechanic. Oh, look, I can make the item and you find... It's friggin' basically a version of Scribble Knots. My sons beat that game. It's Scribble friggin' Knots for Zelda. So, you're gonna... And I remember even a game where you could do... I think way back as far as Azure Dreams. Flynn, see if you can remember. There was some game way back in the day where you could place items and you would get the item and now you could duplicate it. It's very much a stolen mechanic from other games. And I wish somebody would come bust them up on that, because, it's like if games started doing this, there'd be barely any games that will be made. But Nintendo's shown that instead of making a better Pokemon game, they'd rather do weird things to the character creator, because remember that whole fiasco. The reason they're doing this is because their last game bombed out because of the stupid decisions they made about how your character looks and crap that pissed everybody off. So now they're going, well, then you can't play this other game, though. And, it's that BS. And honestly, as somebody who used to love Nintendo, I see them as pathetic now. They no longer have my respect. This is sad and pathetic. You've got all the money in the world to make the game better. You could literally go make the better Pokemon game. You could make Pal World as a Pokemon game and make way more money than they did right now. But you're wasting money doing stupid shenanigans that show you have no creativity.
A lot of the mechanics of Pal World, have been mechanics that people have been begging to see a Pokemon game do, but they were always refused. And now somebody decided to do it. I mean, it's dumb, and they're jealous. I mean, but I'm with Flynn on. I mean, from everything I've read, most likely they're going to try to just settle. But I don't know, man. I think if I was Pal World, I would be a dick, and I would not settle for any means. I would just be like, they made enough money. They should be able to hold up in court for quite a while.
He said, Flynn was saying they can't do that. No, Flynn, I'm not saying with the gun part. That's how they can also make sure they don't get sued by Power World. But they could definitely do you're running around, you're catching your Pokemon is non-turn based, you can ride them. They could do every part of that except the guns. And let me be real with you. You could ask Xeno, man, I didn't use the guns. Like, the guns meant nothing to me. I didn't mess around with the guns nearly the whole game. I was playing it like it was Pokemon Survivor.
Oh, yeah, you were a summoner, man.
Yeah, I was playing pure summoner. I was breeding super Pokemon. They left one day, and it came back, and they had, like, a super rare Pokemon for everybody. Everyone had their own one where I had bred a whole bunch and just put them in the base. It was crazy. Like, I was having fun. I was playing Pokemon. That's what I was doing. And I don't think that somebody would go, I don't know about this game. It doesn't have the guns. The guns did not mean anything.
Now, while he was doing all that, like I was sneaking into high level dungeons and getting blueprints for stuff that was way above our level, so that I'd come back with this super gun, and he's like, I'm good, raw.
Yeah. Hey, man, I found a fruit and taught dark star laser beam to my mount. I got one for you. It's in the box. Because, that's what you never went back to, Zeno. I had, like, so many BS skills in that box just waiting for you guys to go start giving stupid abilities to your mounts. But no, like, as you see, like, now Zeno was walking around with, like, freaking the golden gun from freaking GoldenEye. Like, he had, like, freaking...
I'd go to the highest level areas and just fly around stealing chests that were having max level ingredients and blueprints in them, while he's like going around, finding ways to breed these things into way OP versions of them.
I was skipping whole generations. It's like, hey, we haven't even unlocked this monster, but here's 3 of them. But it was funny because at one point he looks at me and I'm like, man, I should probably upgrade my armor. He's like, what are you wearing? I'm like, I got like leather on. And he's like, I'm wearing like gold quality mithril armor. I'm walking around in a loincloth, man. Like, huh? I used a bow for so long in that game. I just noticed that nobody was taking arrows out the box. Realized I'm the only dude who's still using a bow. Him and Mike have upgraded. Him and Jarek like have pushed up to like weapons, and I'm just like, I got a bow. But there you go. And the point is that they could do it. They could do it easy. If they were really smart, they could buy the game from them or buy the company. Heck, from what we know, they claim the guy that runs the company is a sellout. They probably could have, the money they're wasting here could have been spent buying the Power World engine, turning it into a Pokemon game. Boom. That's a viable thing. But instead, they're like,
yeah,
you don't
and just change the sprites to where you actually have real Pokemon versus the bootleg Pokemon.
Remove the guns, switch in the Pokemon characters, and there you go. That's all it would take. But instead, they want to try to sue. And like they said, the lawsuit is risky. You know what I mean? Very, very risky because it could affect all their patents. Because the problem is that common law can come into effect. When they screw this up, they could actually end up opening up this stuff to where people who were scared to do it are now all ripping off Pokemon. You see what I mean? That could happen. It could be like, oh, okay, your patents all got tossed out. So now everybody's making their version of Power World and Pokemon. And now Nintendo has started a flood. And you know what? They deserve it because you decided to do it the worst way possible. You get what you deserve, man. You decided to be a punk. You get it. All right. Nintendo pissed me off, man. I'm in a bad mood.
What's your predictions? Do you think they will settle in court, or do you think
Power World said that they're digging their boots in, and honestly, I think they are. I think they're serious about digging their boots in on this. You know, and what's better is that if it does negatively affect the patents, they can rip them off even more next time. Like, they can even start like, hey, look, man, you can turn your hat around backwards when you start your battle. Just start screwing with them.
Well, another thing the article mentioned that I almost forgot about was that Pocket Pair actually did sign a deal with Sony. And honestly, if Sony could kill some of those Nintendo patents, that may actually be a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
So they may get some Sony money in on this, and who knows?
And Sony doesn't mind throwing away cash.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They don't. Yeah, we know they don't. Exorbitant amounts on dreams that aren't going to happen.
What was it, like 500 million they paid Disney to use Marvel characters or some bull crap like that?
Oh yeah, the Marvel contract that is going to really go badly if those games don't sell well. It isn't how much they signed and paid them, it's the penalties if the game doesn't do well that made that deal crazy. They signed what would be considered to be like a at shotgun point contract, and I don't know why. They must have been scared of Xbox when they signed that.
Yeah, but Sony games haven't been panning out well lately. Much to their displeasure about the lack of success of Concord.
Off-topic thing that came out is, Black Myth Wukong actually saved PlayStation. They said after the Concord thing, what kept them from taking too bad a hit was how well Black Myth Wukong did. Because, it was on PlayStation. That was a console it was on, and it brought them in quite a bit. So, they got bailed out, luckily, by a game that I'm surprised they even had, given Sony's views and and how people were going after.
I think so Flynn's asking about the Fox for the Mutants and X-Men rights, but Sony got Spider-Man. I think that's just for the theatrical releases. I don't think that has anything to do with video games.
No, we're talking about a PlayStation deal we covered a while back, Flynn.
Yeah, because the video game rights and the theatrical rights are completely separate rights.
Yeah. Well, no, I think they had the video game rights for Spider-Man as well. The deal they signed, I think, was for all the other X-Men and Marvel
Avengers,
MCU stuff. Yeah.
And they've got like a Wolverine game coming out. They've got an X-Men game. But part of the deal, I don't remember all the details, was not only did they pay an exorbitant cost, but if they make a bad game and it underperforms, they owe Marvel like compensation for messing up
Plus,
the brand.
they can lose the rights.
And they can lose the rights even though they paid for it, which means if the X-Men game that we've covered wasn't looking very good, the Wolverine game does poorly, and they mess up too much, then they wasted all that money, and Marvel gets to walk away with a fat paycheck. And dude, MCU's reputation can't be worse.
But it's only coming out on PlayStation. But even just what I've seen about the Wolverine game already as it is, I wouldn't be interested anyway because it looks like it's going to be garbage.
Dude, the way it was looking, I wouldn't play it if it was free on Game Pass.
You sound like me and Vileguard.
Dude, I was going through my mind, and I already have said that it, like, not even for, I put a price tag of even for $300, I wouldn't play that game. And I mean that you couldn't pay me to play that for like under $400 or $500. My time's too valuable. I added up how much I make an hour, how much I value my time, and said I consider that game such a waste of time. I couldn't be paid to play it without getting some compensation, and a good bit. It's literally so distasteful. I'd rather pick my nose.
Well, talking about studios and bad decisions and stuff, I'm going to switch over to something we talked about some last week, and that's the POW Group, which I'm going to let Q jump in on this one. This is something he called, and I'm going to refill my coffee cup.
Oh dang. I got to go on that long? I'm going to need some help, Bloodaxe. I mean, it's mostly a big I told you that if you watched our last vid when we covered this, I said that Power was going to erase this very quickly because SBI's got that bad a rep. And we went to their website. Oh, what?
Yeah, they scrubbed it within like 12 hours of our show. It was like Monday. And
I heard it was in 4 hours, so we think we may be the first people to have caught them scrubbing it because we went to their site live, and the website already we couldn't find it. Well, now they've scrubbed the LinkedIn as well. And I said this because I said, now that people know that it's SBI, they're going to go to underground. Because the point is to sneak SBI in on these games without people knowing it, because that's how bad the rep is. Once SBI is seen, you're done. Nobody's playing the game. Well, you're losing players. So Power being dumb enough to even publicly announce it was stupid because, SBI doesn't want to be seen. We know they're still working with them, but not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know where SBI is. I mean, they scrubbed their own site. Obviously, they're going to want them to scrub their site. Well, now it's hit that point to where they've openly scrubbed it, but that just means now that even more so, no one will trust the Powell Group because everybody's going to assume they're secretly working with SBI, even if they say they're not. See, this is what I said about the negative effects of SBI going secret. With SBI hiding the games they worked on and changing their site to where you don't know what they're doing, it just makes people look for them harder. And now innocent games are going to be accused of being SBI if they have anything that even looks slightly SBI-like. You feel me? Well, now they've created a paranoia. For example, Powell Group, they're screwed. They can announce that they're not working with them anymore. No one will believe them now. They're permanently marked as SBI. No one's going to believe them,
but I mean, even the past couple of years, we've all got bitten from purchasing games that were absolutely quote garbage, and even because they're not publishing what projects they're working on, so a lot of gamers are now going to wait for reviews before they basically kill pre-orders is what they've done. Because now we don't know what their little grubby paws are going to be in and what they're not.
And it created this messed up scenario where you can't have like a protagonist of color, especially a female protagonist of color, without suspicion, because everybody's just going to think that SBI did it behind the scenes, and that may not be the case. That's the unfortunate part. That may not be the case. But how do you know they've gone to ground? So, and the reason that it's going to cause you to hesitate, wait for the game to come out. Well, games make most of their sales on release. Bloodaxe, you know that. you really need to make that front end burst of sales. You really do. And just that delay of people waiting is enough time for people to decide they don't need to spend the money. You know what I mean? It happens to me all the time. I don't buy a game immediately. I rarely go back and buy it.
And especially now, because we're still all hurting just because of the way the economy is right now. But, we do have disposable income, but we're even more gun shy about purchasing a game unless it's going to be like Gears E-Day. I will buy that because I know what the franchise is. But for new franchises or for the way that Dragon Age has been trending over the past couple of games, I would never pre-order that because I had a feeling it was probably going to be woke trash. Now, the one that really got me was Baldur's Gate 3. Fortunately for Baldur's Gate, you can at least pick paths that aren't going to put you down into those really strange cutscenes. So,
oh yeah, dude, it's all optional. You can play that game, and especially if you know what to avoid, you literally can play that game and never see anything weird. Now, you do need a little heads up. There's a couple of scenes where you can round the wrong corner of a barn and see something you didn't want to see.
Like the furries?
No, I think it's a goblin. It's either it's a goblin and a bugbear, and I'll leave it at that. But you can round the wrong corner. But the point is that your character does not get tricked or forced. Dude, you can kill any character you want. You can literally look at somebody, they can tell you something you don't want to hear, and you can go, all right, and that's it. You just go blam and walk off. Like, that's literally the way you can play it. So choice is important. And to me, I don't care about the content. I care about the choice. I care about my ability to decide. I'm a guy who's played several Elder Scrolls games, and the great sin I confessed to our friend Jared recently is that I've never completed the Thieves Guild quest line or Assassin's quest line in any Elder Scrolls game. Because the games are so immersive for me, I don't want to play evil. So I've literally played hours of Skyrim, beating it up and down. Amazing quest lines. I know they're amazing. Never completed them. I don't feel like I lost anything, though, because there was so much choice and options in the game. It just felt like that was my choice. I don't play a thief. I don't play a rogue. I don't play an archer. I play Redguard warriors, and I play mages. And I've gotten so much satisfaction out of that, I don't feel I missed anything by not doing it if it's not what I'm into. That's choice. I feel like if I bought Baldur's Gate, I would be able to enjoy the game without feeling that I missed out on something just because I decided I don't want to make out with the vampire dude. I don't think that's going to ruin my play experience or anything. I don't think it'll stop him from being in my party and me getting along with the guy, because they don't present it like it's mandatory either. It's your relationships are all very, very much seem to be by choice. It's a well-made game. I'll vouch for the game. Seems incredible. I just don't want to do that style of combat. Like I said, I played Divinity so much, I just burnt out on that SOCOM.
Oh, no, that was the same thing on me. Like, I played Divinity 1, Divinity 2. Heck, we played Divinity 2 together. So by the time Baldur's Gate 3 came out, I'd already played the Divinity games. I'd also played the games by Obsidian. I forget their names, but there's two of those that were also the Baldur's Gate I was sort of burnt out on that genre by the time Baldur's Gate 3 came out.
Hey, dude, also, because it's that XCOM style game, that's what I meant to say, XCOM, I also played all the Shadowrun games before that.
It's not XCOM now. That's to me, XCOM and Baldur's Gate are completely different.
True. That's not fair. But before I played Divinity,
the only thing they have in common is over top.
That term, you're okay, but there's more in common than that. But
a little bit, but not by much.
Like the misfits and all that. But I started with frigging Shadowrun games too. I played all the Shadowrun games that came out that were XCOM turn based, and I went into Divinity.
Now the Shadowrun games were more XCOM than
there's
Diablo.
Something going on out here I need to find out. I'll be back.
Baldur's Gate. But anyway, I get it. But I mean, speaking of games that didn't do well as well, this is another game that sort of tried to hide its numbers for a while. This is one that actually fooled me at first. Like, I remember going through and going, it doesn't seem that bad. Later, other stuff came out to make it a little more forced than it needed to be. But Alan Wake 2, which was considered a success, is just coming to find out that they just are barely making it. It's like Remedy has recouped most of the development and marketing expenses for Alan Wake 2, which means they still haven't quite covered that cost yet.
All right, sorry, I had to go make sure that like he hadn't shoved a fork in the garbage disposal or something. There was so much noise.
All right. But yeah, so this came out. We saw this in the second quarter revenue, our Remedy's H1 2024 earnings. And Remedy has, shown that, they didn't actually make their money back for Alan Wake 2.
Now, this one you got to go back a few vids to catch it, but we covered this. I did that too, where we went searching out, and I theorized that they were not going to break even. This is actually the origin of my original question before Black Myth Wukong ever started to put out the numbers of how much they asked them for. You remember, I said, I think that these consultants are charging a buttload. And for this game to sell as many copies as it did sell and still not make its money back, they had to have gotten wrecked by those consultants, man.
I don't know. I mean, they don't break down the cost of consulting, so I mean that's a guess.
But it was one of their top sellers, though. Alan Wake 2 was supposed to be one of their best-selling games ever, and you still didn't break even? You spent money somewhere, and it definitely wasn't on quality voice acting or amazing writing. I mean, it's not a bad game, but I mean, it wasn't like mind-blowing either. So where did the expense come from, man? To make it still not profitable when it's one of the best you've ever done on a game.
I mean, and once again, we don't know where the expenses all came from. If it was poor development choices, overpaying, overhiring, we don't know. Now, don't get me wrong. I agree. A lot of these consultants do charge a good bit. And, I mean, we've seen from Black Myth Wukong that they'll strong arm you if they can get away with it. Now,
you're talking about original development and marketing, but it was released, a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
So you're not even talking about upkeep or current services that you're providing up until this point. So that's just original development and marketing costs, not to mention what you've sunk into the game since it was released.
Well,
you're right. I mean,
it's not
because it sold several million copies.
It's not the kind of game, too, that would need a lot of upkeep, though. It's a single-player game. They didn't really do DLC, though, so upkeep should have been minimal.
June
not a live service.
June 8th, they released the Night Springs expansion for Alan Wake 2, so they did do an expansion. They did put
something out. All right. That it? So they did one expansion.
And said that coincided with the announcement of the physical deluxe edition of Alan Wake 2 and the limited collector's edition, which would be released in October and December of 2024, respectively.
So you had Night Springs in June, and then you had the Lake House that was just released in October.
So, I mean, they're trying to get their money back. Apparently, they just released a collector's edition, or they just released a deluxe edition, and apparently, for some reason, in December, for a game that nobody is talking about anymore, they're going to release a limited collector's edition.
Which is weird because most people probably that got that game have already beaten it.
Yeah, so normally you release collector's edition when the game is like part of the pre-order.
Exactly.
Well, they're trying.
I would never go back and buy a collector's edition a year later.
Well, the worst part is that this is an effort to break even, guys. This is not even an effort to make more profit. Now, here's what this is going to roll into a later topic pretty well, because if selling millions of copies of this game that wasn't in development, that I don't think had the development heck a certain game we're about to talk with, millions of copies, didn't break even. How can people say that a certain other game is doing amazing?
All right, and that's going to jump us over to, I guess, Dragon Age Vanguard.
What?
So supposedly, Dragon Age Vanguard has, and this is rumors. Apparently, there's been rumors. An insider told Endymion that refunds are skyrocketing for Dragon Age Vanguard, and the whole Trump thing has caused BioWare devs to lose their collective minds. Additionally, the total pre-orders were less than 200,000. We talked about that. Plus, the consecutive Steam count has not been able to get over, hasn't even been able to make it to 90,000. It's been hovering
let alone 100,000.
Yeah, I think it's been hovering at that 86,000. There are people who have estimated that this game has probably only sold the estimation I saw between 300,000 and 600,000 copies.
Which, as we just talked about, over 1 million copies could be still not even a break-even point. Well, there's no way that Alan Wake 2 cost more than Dragon Age Vanguard, man.
Wow, their all-time peak is still only 89,000.
Yeah.
There's 56,000 right now.
What'd you say?
In the past 24 hours, their highest peak was 61,000. Their all-time peak was 7 days ago.
Oh, yeah, it's not going up. It's going down. Like, they're not, that is their peak. I don't think it's going to climb. I think it's going to drop.
I will tell you, dude, this picture here, I've seen it way too often, but this picture here is probably my main reason. Like, forget everything else about this game. When I saw Kanari look like that, I was done.
Dude, that's on purpose, though. Now, the forehead thing is the way they did it, but the other parts, that's somebody screwing around. I'm going to be fair. Now, the weird face that they try to make them all look like pretty boys is very bizarre, and I haven't seen a masculine-faced Kunari made by anybody yet. And all the people I've seen playing one, the best I've seen is boy band at best. It's like it's about as far as they can get it. But my biggest thing is that it's impossible that this game is even breaking even now. I lost that. I don't know who I was betting against because I don't think anybody would even take the bet. But I said, I think they'll only break even. I'm now like, now that I've seen Alan Wake give an idea of a price, and this is a AAA game, and 10 years, we know it cost more. They're not only not breaking even, they're not even close. They're doing so bad, you could probably triple their sales numbers and they still wouldn't break even. I want you to think about that. A 300% multiplier to their sales amount would not probably even break even for this game. That is getting Concordy on the level of bad. Now, not completely, but that's also because Concord had an overinflated budget just beyond belief. But it is bad in that it is a massive, massive fail. Yet, Game of the Year contender, apparently. Game of the Year contender. And hey, you better not go in that subreddit and follow the wrong person. You know what I mean? Because apparently they don't just ban you for what you say. They'll just ban you because you're following somebody they don't like.
So Dragon Age subreddit bans Asmongold community. No room for anti-woke discussion. I didn't want to go jump to this yet because I still had comments about the game itself.
Weave them in. Come on.
But, you can do it. I mean, one of the other things I was going to say, the other reason why, I'm shocked, is, I mean, too many people have talked about how bad the writing is, So we got horrible character design. We got bad writing. And then on top of that, one of their claims of glory is scars in a game that healing is an option.
He cannot get past it. I always thought it would be Bloodaxe, but Bloodaxe, he has surpassed you. Xeno, cannot forgive the scars. He has thought about it too much and it's gotten in his head.
I don't get it, dude. Look, I mean, the fact of what the scars are for, I don't really give a shit about. It's the whole point of you don't need scars. And so
this is a game where in the first game you meet Morrigan, who can shapeshift.
Yeah. I mean, you got healing, you got shape-shifting, you're in a fantasy magical fucking world, and you're going to talk about surgery scars as your pride and joy of your game.
I don't even know why you need to. Well, let me not get in there. I'll get in trouble because I don't even understand the concept behind it. So,
careful. Careful.
I get in a whole lot of trouble because I'm about to say
we would be banned from their community, I'm sure, because screw them.
Well, I don't care if we're banned. I just don't want to get banned from YouTube.
I unfortunately am subscribed to Asmongold on YouTube. I don't know if they're getting you for being on his YouTube, but I know that if you follow him, that's the reason this is brought up. It isn't about who's right or wrong politically here. It's that they are banning people who follow Asmongold. Not that you said anything about their game. Not that you've ever said anything bad at all. You simply follow this guy or watch his videos. We're banning you.
You're guilty by association.
Judgmental. And you know what's funny? You know what that is? That's them grouping a bunch of people into something and putting a tag on them that's not based on actually knowing them or any real information. That is an ism. That's an ism. Guess what? They're doing an ism because they're grouping everybody that follows Asmongold and saying, you all are this.
I mean, it's not just that, dude. Look, I don't even like Asmongold that much. I mean, I follow him. I also follow a lot of other people I don't really agree with a lot because they do.
Oh, dude, Asmongold's got a hit rate of so-so. I thought he was up his own tail a lot of times.
So, I mean, here's the thing. I follow a lot of people who I agree and disagree with. So, that's just dumb in itself. But that's one of the, that's one of the things about the extremists. I mean, and this is where we're coming from. We're coming from an extremist mentality, dude, because only extremists say you can't follow somebody you disagree with. I mean,
well, they want you to do what they do. They want you to get into a bubble and not get arguing viewpoints or stay informed.
Well, that's how you become extremist.
I literally watch a certain news station that I don't really like. I don't care. I'll say it. I watch Fox, man. I don't watch Fox because I like Fox. I watch Fox because I want to know what the heck they're saying. I'm not saying for even political reasons. I just don't like them. I don't know. There's nobody on there that
I haven't found a news station I do like. So.
True, they all suck. But I specifically watch them because I need to hear both sides of an argument. Still, it takes a while to muddle through it, but you can't be informed if only one person's in your ear. You just can't. But they don't want that, and that's why they think this is okay. Because only an idiot would go, hey, let's go dig through this person's follows and make judgment calls on them. And it's like, that's really inappropriate. There could be people that follow Asmongold to hate on him and just go, I know that when I watch him, there are people that go into his chat and just dog him out. And because he doesn't ban that often, he lets it ride. He's got a lot of haters who follow him just to hate him.
Ah, dude, look.
What? They're banned.
I know people like that. Like, I used to work with a dude that followed the Clarion Ledger, which is a local newspaper around here, just so he could get on there and yell at people. So...
I mean, there you go. So, I mean, it's a dumb move. It shows a lack of foresight. It's judgmental. You could be a lot of innocent people could have been. Dude, there's some people that might follow Asmongold that only watch him play WoW. They don't even listen to his commentaries because, he also plays games. And there might be people that just follow him playing games.
And the thing is when you hear stuff like this, it also makes that demand of refunds and throws sound more realistic. Because if I was getting banned from the community of a game I played, I'd probably want my money back.
Flynn said, Demon Lord 2099, even your haters can give you power. Well, I once told somebody that who was talking about the fact that Asmongold likes to cover videos that are making fun of him or attacking him. He'll actually react to those videos.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, look at him trying to pretend like his feelings are hurt and all that. I'm like, dude, he's making more money off of reacting to the video insulting him than the guy who made it. I don't think his feelings are hurt. Because guess what? You came and you watched the entire video so you can say his feelings are hurt.
Dude, I will say, I don't watch a lot of these commentary type people, but some of my favorite videos is when they read their hate mail. I mean,
I know, man. And dude, like they go on Asmongold, they make entire elaborate horror videos and stuff about them, and those are my favorite. And I'm like, and I laugh because I can laugh and I don't feel bad for him because one, he doesn't seem to care, but two, I know he's making a buttload of money off of it. So I'm like, hey, man, they're putting money in his pocket. He, like I said, guy that made it might get 500,000 views, and Asmongold may get 5 million. So I'll tell you what, I'll watch y'all talk about me like a dog if I can monetize it like Asmongold. I'll watch videos of them making fun of me. I'll star in the video. I'll show up and play the caricature because who cares? That kind of thing doesn't faze me because who cares what other people think in the first place?
Well, speaking about talking to people like they're a dog, this is Q's favorite company to talk to like it's a dog. Sony boss.
You know, when this started, it was such a small thing. A long time ago, me and Sony parted ways because they said you're going to pay what I say you're going to pay. And I just simply said, I'm not going to buy it. But it has since been me watching the villain origin story of Sony and them just unrepentantly becoming more villainous every moment. Not in the way of like a oh God, there's so many. All the companies that like did terrible things to their actual employees. No, a video game villain. I want to do that. They're not Ubisoft. They're not the Diablo people, Blizzard. But in the gaming community, as a gaming company, Sony PlayStation is a supervillain. And they are just determined to ride that out. They got so much blowback.
What do you say? Lawful evil?
Lawful evil, yes, because they're not Nintendo. Nintendo is dirty. Nintendo's neutral evil. And the other companies I mentioned are chaotic evil. But like, they're lawful evil. They're literally pushing the frigging, you must get your PC account into our PlayStation again. Despite, we knew they were doing it, but despite the fact that it had such a negative impact, they're not letting it go, man.
But it's to keep games safe.
Which makes no sense in single player. There's no reason. In fact, the idea of you needing to sign into Sony and have a sign-in is a literal downgrade to a single player game. It's making that game require to be online.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it is, dude. You know what it is.
Yeah, pat the numbers.
It's not just that, man. It's mods. You remember how certain mods they didn't like, and so they'd get them blocked. Well,
because the mods were taking out stuff that people didn't want in the game.
But they could only remove them from they could only get the mod sites to remove them, which not all mod sites would do, you know?
Yeah, Nexus punk ass. That's okay. There's other places to go.
Exactly. But if they have access to your game, then they know what mods you're putting.
That's what I said. It's a downgrade. It's literally just a downgrade. It can even make it like, depending on how strict they're being with it, it can make it so you can't play when you're offline, which could lead to, dude, power outage, your internet's out. Now your single player game doesn't even effing work, you know. And it's not necessary. It doesn't keep any game safe in single player. It's BS. But they want power over you because remember, they also can ban your Sony account, and now you can't play your games.
Your single-player games. Yes.
Your single-player games. And that's the reason that we won't do it, is because, hell no, If I ever sign a Sony account, it's going to be because it's a game that's on Xbox, and I didn't pay for it in the first place. I will not pay for a Sony game that requires this sign-in. It's why I won't play Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is off the block because we know they're going to bring it back.
Well, dude, I mean, I'll be honest, even on Game Pass, dude, if I really enjoy a game and I really want to play a game that I find on Game Pass, I usually buy it on Steam.
Yeah. I've done that. I got games that I bought after playing it, or I decided I wanted it because, one, it may not stay on Game Pass, and two, Steam's just a better, you own your game. Or at least you own it way more than anywhere else.
But you do. I mean, you're more likely to.
You own it more than you do anywhere else.
Because if Steam removes something off their store list, if you bought it, you still got it. They still let you have access to it. They just don't have it on their store anymore.
But hey, the good news is, I always thought Horizon actually was a sucky game series, and they're screwing up the remaster with this. I'm glad, because I'm sick of hearing about this game like it's good. They pushed this game up, and I know it may have sold well. The concept doesn't work for me. Alloy does not interest me. This has never been a franchise that I gave two flips about. But hey, I'm also a guy who didn't get into the Nate Drake ones or any of that either. It does nothing for me. And honestly, I would love it if they effed it up and killed it off, because it's only gotten dumber with each sequel. Because I do know what it's about. I stay informed. And I'm just like, oh, God, I want this to stop. So, hey, man, Sony, do your thing, Sony. Go for it, buddy. You're not going to be missed.
And good news, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 dev has had enough with the constant de novo, which we've talked about de novo and how horrible of a DRM it is. And they said, we're not having it. So Kingdom Come Deliverance actually has no DRM.
I mean, I believe it. The first one, I was able to mod it, when I felt like it. It's moddable.
DRM is your anti-piracy and your anti-cheat and all that.
Doesn't it screw with mods and stuff too, though?
Huh?
Doesn't it screw with mods too, though? I thought it messed with mods.
It can screw with mods. I mean, you can still mod some things with that. It depends on how it's set up. But, I mean, the big thing is it kills the PC, man. And it kills the quality of a game running. So I'm glad to see Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 going, hey, look, we're going to do it without. Now, people, please, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, do not pirate this game. Don't make them look bad for not having anti-piracy.
I don't think piracy is as big an issue as people make it out.
Generally,
and I say
people
that,
who pirate wouldn't have bought the game to begin with.
There you go. I don't think piracy prevents people from buying a game. I think that pirates simply don't get to play it. That's what I think it is. And dude, we've seen games that have other tricks for that. There's been a lot of games. I've watched so many videos lately where they talk about all the little ways they had of messing with people for pirating a game that doesn't require de novo. But my whole thing is this: stop worrying about what somebody does to a game you already sold. That's like a chef. You order a meal from him, and then he's looking out the window to make sure you don't put pepper on. It's like, yo, man, you got paid. The trade. Ooh, I forgot about the alchemy. I did enjoy that a lot. All right, now you're making me want to play it. Crap. I did enjoy that. I was an alchemist master. All right. But anyway, I did play the first game. It was pretty good. But basically, you threw me off, you son of a gun. The key point, though, is that you've sold the game, you've made your money. Why don't you do this? Do like Black Myth Wukong, do like other games, sell millions of copies, make your money, and go on about your business. I really think that over-obsessing over the penny pinching just turns you into a Nintendo where you screw up. You really should just try to make the money, accept the internet's the internet, and keep going. That's really what you do. You know why? Because you get merch. You get more money. Dude, we always talk about this. You get a lot of money off of merch and branding. Make your brand big, and you'll make up for it in the popularity. My boy here, Bloodaxe, is a perfect example. Man had thousands of dollars worth of Funko Pops and stuff he liked. I think you said you bought your second house basically with Funko Pop money. It's like you didn't sold them. When we like your stuff, we'll support you. We'll watch your stupid animated version you make. We'll get your T-shirt. Somebody will cosplay your characters. Like, build a brand. Don't kill the brand building by being so finicky about little stuff that you never freaking. How many games have we seen that it came and gone? It came, they were there, people thought they were good. It's gone now. It's gone. Nobody, saying it didn't catch on. Build a brand and don't be so, I want de nouveau. I want to make you sign into my PSN account. Just let people enjoy your games, build some loyalty, and you'll get generations of customers, man. Yeah. It's basic.
And I mean, and Kingdom Come is one I'm looking forward to, which is why I enjoy the fact it doesn't have de nouveau. Also, I mean, they've been pretty straightforward so far, so looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm not gonna buy a Sony game because I'm not going to attach my computer to Sony. It's not gonna happen, you know. I hate it because there are some Sony games I would like to play. I do like the God of War series. I mean, there's some cool single player Eastern games that are coming out exclusive for Sony that we could probably get on PC. But if they're gonna require me to log into PSN, not gonna do it. You know.
I mean, yeah, man, the stuff that's going to require a PSN sign-in goes so, like, it has to be such an amazing game to tempt me. And the thing is, let's be real, when's the last time Sony's done that? When's the last time Sony's put out a game that just was a genuine must-play? Like, to where you're like, oh, no. No, I mean, really, for me, it hasn't happened. I know I don't like Sony, but I'm a gamer. But they just haven't really grabbed that title.
I mean, to me, the God of War before the last one was a must play. I loved it. I thought it was great. I would suggest it to anybody.
I got Black Myth Wukong. It scratched my itch, and I loved it. I would admit though, I was hurting until that came out. I was like, ooh, that looks good. That looks really good. I will admit it looked good. Ragnarok, not so much. Ragnarok did not. I mean,
I'm not saying Ragnarok looked bad. It just didn't have the same appeal that the first one, the first of that stylization of God of War had.
A couple of decisions they made too seem stupid, but we won't get into that. So, I mean, but there you go. I mean, that's kind of where it really is these days with Sony and some of these companies. And I'm glad Kingdom Come Deliverance just said, we're just going to try to make our money. Dude, just try to make your money. Look at how the indie companies don't worry about this crap, man. They're just making their games and raking it in. And they're making so much more money than the big names. They're killing the big names. Black Myth Wukong, Pal World. Don't forget that back when Pal World came out, it sold millions of copies. I mean, these indie games that aren't sweating this stuff are doing so much better that you have to go, are you guys not paying attention? What's the last AAA game that's really knocked it out of the park? Even Call of Duty 6, which is doing quite well and sold millions of copies, does have a really bad Steam score. And it's because, it's
mostly because of the launcher, the interface.
Yes, the launcher is just a blah. And you're like, simplify that crap, man. Like, it's just... Look at these other games that don't bother with that.
But I mean, that's another third party thing, you know. I mean, the fact that the Call of Duty launcher is its own little thing is another. I mean, all this making it difficult. I mean, you're making it difficult for people to play your game, whether it be log into. You got to create a PlayStation account and log into your PlayStation account. You got to create a Call of Duty or an Activision account or a Blizzard account or. All this, people just want to play games. It's why console gaming is the way it is. Why people do still play a lot of things on consoles, because on console, you tend to just be able to play your game. But for some reason, these consoles want to try to make it hard for you to play your game on PC.
I don't know, man.
I don't get it.
Bloodaxe.
Well, I don't have a dog in the fight because while I wanted to play the God of War games, it's not been something to the point to where I was willing to either get a gaming PC or a PlayStation. But there's a reason why I have a shelf full of physical media over here on the side. Is because I will always want to have access to my games. Because eventually, especially these digital games, there's going to come to a time you're not going to have access to your library, whether they shut the servers down or to where the just the game's no longer being supported. So the fact that PlayStation makes you sign into an account to play on a PC, just I don't understand. But I mean, Gearbox has been doing that for years with their shift stuff, so you can get the gold keys and whatnot. So it's not like it's new, but the slippery slope of making the game safe, i.e., you do something we don't like, we're going to deny you access to the product you purchased. That should rub every gamer the wrong way.
Yeah.
And, you know, honorable mention here just for fun. But I'm going to both hurt and try to put a good mood on Zeno, but also hurt him at the same time because he's been currently hunting down the Normandy on No Man's Sky. And I like to, and he's having fun, but I keep teasing him saying, you better enjoy it. That's the last time you're going to get anything good for Mass Effect. Because what it looks like is going to be in the next game is looking really bad after what they did to Dragon Age on Vanguard.
So there's funny. A 2-week event on No Man's Sky right now where if you go through their expedition, you would get the Normandy as a end game ship for No Man's Sky. And yes, I almost got it. The last few things in the expedition were more tedious than I thought they would be. But another few hours of play, I should have my Normandy, and
it's this last swan song, man. Because trust me, next time you see N7 on a Normandy, it's gonna be a clown ship, buddy. You know it is.
And I'm figuring this is gonna be one of the probably. I mean, I keep thinking that No Man's Sky, this is probably going to be one of their last original expeditions, and then they'll start doing their redux again, where they revisit some older. Because I mean, we've got a new game coming from Hello Games. You know, we're waiting for, and that
something fire.
Yeah, like, Into the Fire.
Fun. I plan to play that with you, man. If it gets a good ratings. Actually, you know, I've enjoyed playing survival games with you, and that one looks a little bit more my speed too, a little bit more actiony, you know.
Well, you know, Enshrouded had a big patch. Enshrouded, they increased their level range from 25 to 35. They've added a lot more quests. Apparently, there's like more NPCs now. So I haven't hopped back in it yet, but apparently they've expanded on it a pretty good bit. So that may be one you want to check out later on as well.
I don't want to make you start over with me though, and since Blood can't get in, like I would want to start from scratch, and that's why I want to get into I'm going to try to not make the same mistake that I made with you and Drake on Enshrouded where I waited too long. So I'm going to try to jump in. Plus, that looks more my speed than Enshrouded. Enshrouded looks amazing, mind you. It's a great looking game. But the magic system doesn't quite fit my taste.
Yeah, the magic system is item based again, you know. But they do also have stats for magic, like
I've seen it.
You have a
trust
skill
me,
tree.
I'm full break now. But like that other one looked good. I'm not gonna lie. Plus, No Man's Sky through you and Jarek has gotten my respect. They've shown that they don't let something die, so that my time spent in that game, I don't feel like it'd be wasted.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna keep doing it, and I'll keep being able to come back to it with a satisfying experience. That's a great reputation to build. That goes back to what I said about having a rep. I don't like space games. I've never played No Man's Sky, but they've done such a good job that through the people I know playing it, they have my trust. That's the thing I'm talking about. That's why you don't de novo and you don't do the sign-ins. You can build customers.
We don't trust Hella Games at delivering on release date, but they will deliver eventually.
I know they will eventually, though. That's the point. Is I do believe eventually they'll deliver. So I'm willing to give them that hope that hey, who knows, man? Maybe they'll try to get this one out a little more cooked.
Maybe. We'll see. All right, guys. I think that's gonna be it for today. You guys got anything last?
Looking for that Dragon Age crossover.
Well, I have a question. Are we going to be playing zombies tonight, or am I going back to playing Lego Star Wars?
I'm game to play some zombies tonight.
Those are two very different. I'm sorry, the genre shit there. We're going back to play Call of Duty Zombies, or I'm playing Lego Star Wars. I'm just like.
Well, yeah, you know me. I have a wide. Actually, I finally finished everything on Grounded. I'm debating whether or not to go to New Game Plus 5, but I'm going back and playing older games just because I'm trying to hold off on playing any more Call of Duty so I don't piss Xeno off anymore.
I only get pissed when y'all play and don't tell me. You know.
Well, he said you were too busy playing No Man's Sky. That was more important.
I literally asked him about playing Saturday, and he said, "I'll play Sunday. I'm doing my Normandy thing Saturday." And it was a surprise. Bloodaxe, at least defend me. You're the one that contacted me and asked to play. I didn't do it. You contacted me, right?
I asked you, and then I asked, "What about Xeno?" Oh, he's playing No Man's Sky. I'm like, oh, okay, well, all right.
I thought it was.
I was playing No Man's Sky, but my thing is I know that like getting the group together to play something doesn't happen a lot because everybody has their own lives. So if we're gonna play as a group, if you just let me know, I will put something on hold to play as a group.
So guys, if you want to know, we're clearly really gamers because we forgot to turn off the stream. We're just arguing live about gaming. So I love that. We're up here like, man, you played the game without me. It's like, then I look up and I go like, I think we're still live.
I knew we were still live. I don't mind.
I forgot, dude. I switched to gamer mode. I was like, all right, well, let me. So, guys, there you go. Outro.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to Dicejunkies.com where you can find links everywhere online, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. And as every week,